Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. So the Yankees reached the half point of the season, still with a pretty comfortable lead over both the Tampa Bay Rays and Boston Red Sox. But there's still a lot of questions for the team. Starting pitching, I mean, the Yankees are getting some people back, but now you hear with Luis Severino, some setbacks. So he was someone you're going to depend on top of maybe getting someone else. So maybe now you have to get two starters, as well as there's some of these other Bentances coming back. Really still no timetable. You are expecting him back. The team is going to have to address this, but it's still good to have this large lead in the AL East. Just so the second half of the team, the Yankees don't have to beat their brains in. They can rest guys occasionally, such as Gardner, such as Judge, such as CC here and there, or such as Tanaka here. Give them an extra day off. Versus, when you're like neck and neck with a team and you're kind of pounding the pavement every game. Well, you wear yourself out by September. So if the Yankees get themselves a good lead now, they could not take the foot off the gas pedal. Of course, you don't want to do that, but at least you could just set yourself up so you're ready for the postseason. Guys are fresh, and the bullpen's fresh, and the players are fresh, and hopefully you can just have a longer run and just get out of the first round this time. And when you're a first-place team, it means you have a lot of good players on your team, and the Yankees will be sending 4 players to the All-Star game. Gary Sanchez, DJ LeMahieu, no-brainers, just having tremendous first-half seasons. I mean, Gary Sanchez, he might end up the season with like 40 home runs, and he's like a little more than halfway there already. And then later voted on Aroldis Chapman, who has an ERA under 2 slightly. And then there was a lot of talk, well, how can Gleyber Torres not be on the All-Star squad? He was just having a great season. Well, due to an injury, spot opened up, and then he also joined the Yanks, so he'll also be representing the Yanks at the All-Star game. Now, under normal circumstances, Judge would also be an All-Star, but since he missed so much time, this doesn't have the numbers, and it just couldn't get the votes, couldn't get the numbers, so he won't be joining the All-Star squad. But it is great to have him back, as well as Didi Gregorius, and really right away they kind of picked up. And they've more. I know they're waiting on both Judge and Stan, but of the two of them, Judge was the more imperative to come back. I mean, he's the team leader, and you put him right there at the top of the batting order, and he, whether it's a home run or hits a single or works a walk, has a high on-base percentage. Much more crucial to the team to Stan, who's just more of a extra throw-in. Man, who's gone for 2 months. Comes back, hits 1 home run, great, and then sliding to third base, hurts his leg, has like a bone contusion on his knee, the weirdest thing, and now he's out again until like mid-August. So he actually might finish this season with like less than 10 home runs, if you could believe that. So 2 seasons ago, he almost hit 60 home runs. This season, all the injuries, lucky if he could get 10. But really, it's not a big deal. It's not necessary. I mean, the Yankees are stacked with right-handed hitters. Even like Luke Voigt have to visit the injured list. I'm getting used to saying injured list now, so I feel like I accomplished something. The Yankees have plenty of right-handed power. I know he's a former MVP, but really, it was necessary to get Judge back, Didi back. Those are the 2 hitters you really need in the lineup. Stanton, again, extra throw-in, and this season for him just could be bizarre. I don't think he's dogging it like, Jacoby Ellsbury or something like that. It's just one of those freak seasons. He's been cool about it, so, I'm going to give him a pass. You never see Stanton, snap at the media or say the wrong thing. He's just having a weird, miserable season, but again, his team is just doing so great, it's not really a big deal. No rush with him. He could take his time, not hatred towards him, but this team is just gelled right now. They're doing well, and there's just really no space for anyone. So if Stanton needs to take a little extra time, take some extra time, take up golf, maybe try something else like, pool. And in this quest, as the Yankees have padded up their lead in the AL East, they actually set a new record, hitting a home run in 31 straight games, breaking their own franchise record. And the Yankees shouldn't be popping the champagne corks right yet, but if you look at the first half of the season, they've been playing very well against their main rivals in terms of the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. And you just want them, not to fall in the trap they did last season. If you remember the 2018 season, just a little before the All-Star break, Severino kind of had a couple bad starts, kind of looked humanish. I mean, it looked like he was on his way to a Cy Young Award the first couple of months, and then he really took a while to get back. Judge gets hit on the wrist. He was gone for a long time. Didi was down for a while, and the team looked haggard, during August. They just looked tired. They were getting beat up, and it wasn't really until maybe the second to last week of September they kind of got the mojo back finally and kind of resembled the first half of the team. This way, if they could get a nice lead and, they get, as mentioned, just getting the rest, and so they could just look fresh the whole way and not have to sort of catch up like they did last year. Now, GM Brian Cashman has been sort of a wizard in finding either players off the scrap heap or just calling up the right guy from the minors to fill in for the big guys until they get back. Well, a brief move we had was getting Kendrys Morales, the former Anaheim Angel, the former Seattle Mariner, the former Kansas City Royal. We used to heard the Yankees a lot in the past. Switch hitter with power, plays first base, seemed like a good fit. But of course, like everyone else, he also ends up on the injured list. So then the Yankees also bring in Edwin Encarnacion, which at the time just seemed like, why do you need him? But actually, this worked out brilliantly. Now, Encarnacion actually has killed the Yankees for a number of years. In fact, he has the most home runs in the 2000s than any other major league player. And the Yankees picked up and was like, why do you need this guy? Well, as soon as that happened, Stanton goes down, and he's put Encarnacion right there as a sort of the DH. And it seemed like Cashman's had some sort of crystal ball that Stanton was going to get hurt like that. So unless maybe Stanton had some sort of injury that we all just didn't know about and it blew up on him, who knows? But great fit for the Yankees. And here's a guy, again, a lot of home run power, and you figure like a lot of stadiums that the Yankees visit in the AL East, whether it's Tampa Bay, that bandbox, Baltimore Orioles, Camden Yards. I mean, balls for right-handed hitters fly out there all the time. And let's not forget, of course, the Green Monster in Boston. So those are great targets for Edwin Encarnacion just to hit a ton of home runs out of. And again, that's just more of a reason why Stan could just take his time getting back, put Encarnacion in there in the second half. He's just going to hit a whole bunch of home runs for the Yankees. But unfortunately for Kendrys Morales, not enough room for everybody, so the Yankees had to designate him for assignment. Maybe some other team will pick him up. He's still useful, again, whether it's at first base or DH. I mean, he has a lot of home run power, switch hitter. Just, no room in the Yankees. Sorry. Now, a piece I thought they would get rid of eventually was Cameron Maybin, but just before hurting his calf and have to also go on the IL list, he went on like a home run barrage, like 4 games in a row. And from what you hear, it's just like the clubhouse loves him, the team loves him. So even when he's been in the mix of all these different outfield and plays the Yankees have, when he does come back, though, it seems like he will actually be on the team, not get cut like I thought. And it kind of is interesting, he kind of got curried favor over Clint Frazier, but the difference with two of them is that Cameron Maybin could actually play the outfield, Clint Frazier can't, so see when Maybin comes back, he's going to get the nod to get a lot more playing time. And as you expected with, Judge and Stanton for a brief while and Didi coming back, that some of the players, the sort of replacement Yankees that were playing well at the first half of the season, they were going to suffer. Unfortunately, they're going to lose the time. Of course, Frazier getting sent down to the minors, and someone who like Giro Urshela, who's having a great season, both hitting as well as fielding. I mean, his fielding has been phenomenal. I've seen his playing time being cut just because, you have to give preference to DJ LeMahieu, you have to give preference to Didi, you have to give preference to Gleyber Torres, but, it's a long season. That's somewhere one of those guys are going to pull a hammy, he'll be out for a while, and just have Urshela as a weapon is this great off the bench, or possibly you could package him in a trade deal instead of having to give up, some like Florial, or have to give up a blue chip like Domingo Germán, for example. So, Gio Urshela, yeah, he's going to have his time cut, but it's still a valuable piece. In fact, the Yankees really gave up nothing to get him. It's just like you're having a pot of gold on the bench there. And you can't say enough great things about DJ LeMahieu. I know you keep harping over and over, and everyone in baseball has been harping over, but what a great pickup. I mean, he's already leading the American League in batting average, could end up as the batting champion possibly, and now there's even whispers of MVP type talk, just because, he's at the top of the lineup, he's getting a lot of big hits, a part of a lot of major rallies, and that'll just, the only shame is that after 2 years, you got to say goodbye to the guy because he's just going to command a mega contract just because he's playing so well. But you kind of deal with that later on, and that's fine because the Yankees are set up. They got plenty of infielders and stuff like that as it is right now. But if you look at DJ LeMahieu, if he keeps up on his pace, again, might end up as both the batting champion and possibly the American League MVP. Now, people are going to say, well, Mike Trout's going to win it. But if you just look at the Angels, like they're just mediocre and terrible every year. Even if he puts up fantastic numbers, I feel that it should be a player that, not only is a good player, but a good player on a good team. And if you just look at LeMahieu, I mean, he's been really like the only player who hasn't been hit by the injury bug. Seemingly everyone else on the team has. Now, hopefully I didn't just jinx him, but it just seems that LeMahieu is just part of a lot of big rallies. He's up there at the top of the batting order. And I just think, it's just the season he's had is just tremendous. What a great pickup by Brian Cashman. Now, everything's rolling with this team, and the way they're built, they're built to have a tremendous regular season. Who knows, might end up like 100 wins like they did last season. But when you come to postseason, you need pitching, and you need great starting pitching. That's just something the Yankees don't have right now, so they're going to have to make some type of move by the trade deadline. Going to pick up 1, possibly 2 starters. Now, you look at what you were expecting to have. You were expecting Paxton to be a little better than he is right now, and I think there's still room for him to develop and get a little better, so by the time October rolls around, he could be a force. This stuff is still there, but, he hurt his knee a little bit. He kind of has a good start, bad start. He's not really the number 2 guy you were expecting the Yankees to have, but there's still enough, it's been 3 months for him to get his act together, so that is an opportunity and possibility there. And you have Luis Severino, again, with really no clear timetable when he's coming back. There was, first they said it was going to be like June, and it was back July, and then he started throwing a little bit, and he said he's still having some discomfort in the lat and his shoulder and all that stuff, so possibility doesn't even come back. So in that case, you definitely have to get it started. Now, Domingo Germán kind of, surprisingly had a great start to the season. Was leading the team in wins. He went down a little bit with a hip injury, came back strong, so that's a good sign. But he's a young guy. He's never done a full season like this, and just to think that he's going to be able to do this for another couple of months and then be available and fresh and effective in the postseason doesn't seem realistic. So again, they're going to have to pick up another starter. So some of the names you're hearing out there, of course, Bumgarner, from the Giants, which again, he doesn't seem like he really wants to come here, but again, that could just be all back and forth, try to get some more money on the Yankees, who knows. Other names out there, such as Marcus Stroman from the Blue Jays, who he's an type of starter, maybe like a number 2, number 3. He's not really, he's not like an ace, he's not a bulldog type guy, so I don't really know if that's useful. You did hear whispers of Matt Scherzer, who would be serviceable, but I mean, his contract's ridiculous. He makes like $35 million a year, and not only that, just that now the Nationals had a bad start to the season, but he pitched with that broken nose, and it was like the defining moment of the season. Ever since then, the Nats have been great. They're actually back in the wild card hunt themselves. It just doesn't seem likely they'd want to deal him away. Now, of course, Dallas Keuchel's floated out there. He eventually signed with the Atlanta Braves, and that's fine. Go to the National League. I did not want the Yankees to touch him. It's just too up and down. Maybe next season you kick the tires on that. So there's really no one left, and people say, you know, with the Mets, their season pretty much done. You know, well, maybe the Yankees should kick the tire on Zach Wheeler. Wouldn't exactly be a bad idea, but I just don't see the Mets dealing that type of player to the Yankees. Now, back 10, 15 years ago, there was this whole thing where the Yankees and Mets wouldn't even talk at all. I think over time, just some of these GMs, they're younger now, and they just who cares about these old grudges and beefs? But you're not going to put a starter like Zach Wheeler and give him to the Yankees. It's just because the upside of that, because he is a pretty good pitcher. He's having a so-so season. If he does do well, and just God forbid, he helps the Yankees get into the World Series and God forbid win it, it's just for the Mets to swallow that in this town. I don't think they would do it. Now, I think the Mets would give the Yankees like a role player, like a bench player, or some bullpen guy, yeah, but to give them a good, effective starting pitcher, the guy who throws like 98 miles per hour, I just don't see the Yankees dealing. So all those possibilities seem unlikely. So of all of them, really, maybe Marcus Stroman seems most likely to come aboard. But again, he's more of a less, he's not, maybe a little better than Tanaka, but not really. So, I mean, do you really want to give a boatload of prospects just for Marcus Stroman? So we'll have to wait and see. I just have a feeling the Yankees are just going to try to just ride it out a little bit. Just hope Paxton gets better, and just hope Severino does come back, even if he can just throw 2 or 3 starts and just have his arm fresh and just go nuts in the playoffs. I don't know, because it just doesn't seem there's really a great starter out there. And again, the only one who kind of makes sense is Bumgarner, but you're going to have to give up a boatload of prospects for that, including it's probably going to be Clint Frazier. I don't think the Yankees would, mind departing with him, but you probably have to give up Florial and some other pieces they have in their minors. And their minor league system isn't really as great as it was 5 years ago, because a lot of those great chips are up here on the team now, like Gleyber Torres, for example. So I don't know if their farm system has enough to get a Bumgarner, but we'll see how it plays out. But they need better starting pitching, because you just can't have CC or Happ, go 4 or 5 innings, or CC probably winning, last 2 innings in the playoffs. So you need a starter, but we'll see. Cashman's very crafty. We'll see what he pulls out of his hat. And Aaron Boone has adopted sort of the Rays method of having the opener on a bullpen day, and he's been using Chad Green mainly in the first inning, sometimes second inning, and Green's been brilliant in that role. So the Yankees really can't get their stuff together in terms of a starting rotation. Don't be surprised if they use an opener during a playoff game, and it actually makes sense for the Yankees. I mean, they have such a deep bullpen. If you could just go maybe Chad Green 1 inning, and then maybe have Happ do 3, and then you can go right into that bullpen of Ottavino, Canely, and Britton, and Chapman, and if Ben Thompson's come back, so that actually might be a better option than going out there and just getting like Marcus Stroman. And it's become like open season on Clint Frazier with like the media. Everyone just jumping on him, saying, "Oh, he has a bad attitude. He's saying the wrong things, being snarky. He's not being accountable on stuff." Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I just think, look, when he's up here for the Yankees and playing, the guy just hits home runs. It's so pretty simple. All right, not the greatest outfield in the world, and I know they can't really use too many DHs and stuff like that, but I don't see why they need to beat up on the guy. I mean, he's a great hitter. It could be, again, a future all-star for the Yankees, but it just seems like everyone wants to ship him out. He's trade bait. He's going to be gone. And maybe he is, just maybe for the need for a starter, so maybe he ends up in a package that goes to the Giants for Bumgarner, for example. Who knows? But I just say when he's here, when the Yankees call him up and he's up at the major league level, he's phenomenal. So I don't see why the need to always beat up on him. So, people want to throw mics in his face, maybe doesn't say the right thing all the time, who knows? But, I mean, he's just a great player for the Yankees. I just don't want to say everyone's like just jumping on him. It's messed up, really messed up. On June 29th and 30th, both the Yankees and the Boston Red Sox became the first team to play a game in London, the London Stadium. An international game to kind of sell the game off to Europe, as we've seen the NFL try to do this, see soccer teams come to the United States to try to do this, whatever. I just, I really wasn't in love with the idea. It's just like, not only like the 6-hour flight and like the jet lag, and it's only 2 games. I mean, usually when you go to Europe, you stay there for a week just to go for 2 games and come right back. I just didn't like it, but of course, if you want to sell the game, well, you got to give it the best rivalry, and of course, that's the Yankees and the Red Sox. So they played the 2 games there, and it was a bit of a disaster in terms of, if you want to represent what baseball really looks like, those 2 games were not it. I mean, there were just balls being hit all over the place. I mean, it was the final score of the first game was like a football score. It was like 17-14 or something like that. In the second game, a little more normal, but still, it was ridiculous. No pitcher could throw a pitch. I mean, in the first game of the first inning, both Tanaka and Rick Porcello couldn't make it out of the first inning after surrendering 6 runs. So it was kind of a weird thing, but hey, look, it seemed like everyone liked it. The players were into it, at least on the surface. And we'll see. The years to come, they want to have future rivalries there. I mean, next year they're going to have the Cardinals and the Cubs. Same deal. But I'm just happy it's over. Happy there was no little freak injury. I mean, Luke Voigt kind of tweaked his abdomen running around the bases, but that could have kind of happened anywhere. But they did it. They're glad the Harab and the Yankees are back, and I'm just glad it's over. And glad no one's got hurt. And he got a sort of concussion because of the cabin pressure or something. And no one really knows why there was so much offense in London Stadium. I mean, first of all, it's built to have a lot of running events, so they say they designed it so there's no wind resistance. So I mean, the pitcher's going to get the right spin on the ball, and when the ball is hit, it was like flying out. That could be one possibility. Yankees pitching coach Larry Rothschild, he even suggested that possibly, when they transported the balls from the United States to London, maybe just whatever, if they had them in an incubator or some sort of, however they transport them wasn't done correctly, that could be another reason. Or it could be, as there's been a little conspiracy theory because, I mean, there's been a lot of home runs this year. There's been a lot of great hitting, a lot of bad pitching, and even Justin Verlander of the Astros suggested that even the ball just feels different. Maybe this season they juice the balls just to get some more offense, just get some more, more for fantasy owners to get more involved, and people like more offense. So that could be another possibility. Or it could just be for that specific game. If you're trying to sell, you're trying to market baseball to a European audience, well, you don't want like a paint-peeling 1-0 game that's boring as hell. So it could be that as well. No one really knows, and hopefully they've learned their lesson for the future. And a little off-the-field news. Longtime Yankee radio announcer John Sterling will miss his first game in 30 years, going back to 1989. He's broadcasted 5,060 straight games in the booth without missing a day. But unfortunately, he's just feeling a little under weather, no specific type of sickness. People have been asking him. It's just he just feels this overall a little run down, which is understandable. I mean, he is 81 years old. You could use a few days off, I guess, when you're 81 years old. And it's over, especially with that London trip, again, shooting over there just for 2 games and then shooting right back. It takes a toll on people, even though it's a 6-hour flight. Well, it's the same thing as going to the West Coast. It's not really. You got the time zones difference, and you're going over the Atlantic Ocean, and who knows what certain rays and beams are shooting up, and that's why planes always crash in the Bermuda Triangle. So he'll take off not only 1 game, but really they designed this way. He'll take the 4 games against Tampa before the break, and then you have 4 days off during the All-Star break. So it's like 8 total days where you can just rest up and then sort of get back in there, and then start a new streak hopefully. But while he's out, I'm available, so I could broadcast the games. Just give me a call. Call my agent. So we got a lot of the business stuff out of the way, so let's have a little fun. That's what we to do on Section 420 Talkin Yankees. So with the addition of Edwin Encarnacion, he's a player you would say is more of a DH type. Yes, he can play first base. He originally came up as a third baseman, and he's going to play some first base for the Yankees, but you consider him like a DH type. So we're going to look back at some other Yankee DHs, and I'm going to give you my top 10 all-time Yankee DHs. But to do that, it's a little hot. We want to cool down a little bit. We're going to head over to City Island. So let's go. Now here's the ground rules, what I mean by a DH. Yes, of course, a player that's DH probably can also play, like, say, right field, like first base or something like that. These are players who pretty much, in terms of the athletics, maybe their best days are behind them, maybe a little heavier, maybe a little slower, maybe roids, error their joints. No roid users. These are going to be all clean players. So let's get started with number 10. Ron Blomberg. Now, not that he was a great hitter for the Yankees or anything memorable or put some great stats, but the reason you have to put him number 10, you have to mention him because he was not only the first Yankee DH, but he was just the first DH period in Major League Baseball. Now, in January 1973, the American League owners got together. Maybe just, they wanted some more offense, try to, because maybe the late 60s, early 70s game was kind of ish. So they had a vote, 8-4. They said, all right, let's do the DH. So then, April of that year, Ron Blomberg, New York Yankees versus the Boston Red Sox, became the very first DH, not only the Yankees, but Major League Baseball. And in his first at-bat, drew a walk. And then from that year and moving forward, because the American League always had a DH and the National League still refuses to do it, the American League has posted a higher batting average every season since. So National League, if you want some more batting, you want more home runs, more action, get the DH already, get with the times. Jack Clark. He's your typical mercenary type player back in the 80s. And this was in the 80s when like George Steinbrenner was just like throwing money all over the place. The Yankees always had great offenses, but of course no pitching, so they were always terrible. But Jack Clark for the Yankees played 150 games and whacked out 27 home runs. Which brings us to number 8, Danny Tartabull. Now technically a right fielder, spent 3.5 years as a Yankee, but of course when the Yankees traded for Paul O'Neill and Paul O'Neill became the right fielder, Tartabull then transitioned to be the DH, having his best year in 1993, hitting 35 home runs and knocking in 102 RBIs total. Now if you think about Tartabull, it was kind of at the start of the transitional period for the Yankees, obviously early 90s they were terrible, but 93, 94, this is the time the Yankees started turning the tide at the strike shortened season, and then 95 eventually, but he would be traded for Ruben Sierra, who would contribute to the Yankees getting to the postseason, and would be, again, himself be traded later on to get some key pieces for the Yankees. But if you look at Tartabull, he was this kind of that guy that just started the journey, but unfortunately had to be traded away, so he couldn't complete the ride, and he couldn't be there for those great championship years with Torrey. It brings us to number 7. No, not Mickey Mantle, number 7 for our list, Don Baylor. And there's another one of the type of mercenary hitters that Steinbrenner loved to throw money at in the 80s. But the Yankees for 3 years, from the 83 season up through 85, and in 85 won a Silver Slugger Award as a DH. So he kind of did his job he was supposed to, but again, those 80 teams for the Yankees weren't any good. A lot of offense, no pitching. Now Baylor himself, a year later, will go to the 86 Red Sox and hit a big home run against the California Angels to put the Red Sox into the World Series against the Mets. And of course, we all know what happened there, the ball between Buckner's legs. So, good for Baylor. Deserved to lose. So that brings us to number 6, Chili Davis, a very chill type of guy. Now, overall, he didn't do a lot of great stuff for the Yankees. In fact, they kind of got him towards the end of his career, and he missed a lot of time. He's an older guy, DH and that stuff. So, but he was your typical DH. He didn't play the field at all. Switch hitter with some power, again, a good hitter. But really, it was 2 major home runs, which makes him important. One of them was 1998. Now, there was a big feud between Yogi Berra and George Steinbrenner for many years, and Steinbrenner fired Berra back in the 80s, and they had a long beef that lasted like 14 years. Well, there was a day where Yogi Berra came back, and in that game, just to top off the nice vibes, Chili Davis hit a home run to win that game. Again, a regular season game, who cares? But his real vital home run came in 1998, Game 5. American League Championship Series against the Cleveland Indians. Now, it was a game that the Yankees were losing 2-1 in the series. They tied it 2-2 with a great game by El Duque, and then went ahead 3-2 with a strong game pitched by David Wells. But in that game, Chili Davis hit a big home run, and the Yankees were able to take a 3-2 series lead and then come back to win it in Game 6. So, again, if you look, it was only really 2 moments for Chili Davis, but there were 2 really big home runs for both Yankee lore as well as his Yankee championships. So take 5, that's Raul Ibanez. Now the Yankees has had him for 1 season, 2012, and again, he's your protocol DH. At that point in his late 30s at the time, he would play left field once in a blue moon, but he was pretty much relegated to being a DH. Again, someone you really can't use in an interleague game or something like that. Now Ibanez was pretty decent for the Yankees, hit 19 home runs, 62 RBIs, but his signature moment, of course, came in the playoffs. Game 3, American League Division Series against the Baltimore Orioles. The Yankees are down in the 9th inning, and in a stunning move, Girardi actually pulls A-Rod for Ibanez off the bench, and what does Ibanez do? It's a game-tying home run, and just a couple of innings later, in extra innings, hits the game-winning home run. Probably his greatest night of his life, but unfortunately after that, again, it's a guy you can't keep for the long term. The Yankees said goodbye after that 1 magical season. How about this? I don't know, the Yankees do this, I don't know what it means, but it's number 4, Dallas Strawberry. Now, he always played, little bits and pieces of the Yankees. You never could sign him to a long-term deal because you never knew when he'd get in trouble again, so it was always bits and parts at a time, but 95 through 99 in bits and pieces. Now, technically, he was athletic enough where he was able to play the outfield, some left field, some right field, but still, it was kind of in his later years. So when the Yankees did play him, usually O'Neill was in right and Strawberry was the DH, so I would still consider him more of a DH-type player. A fan favorite. Never could get barely could get a full season out of him, but the fans always loved either way, and was part of the 96 as well as the 98 and 99 championship Yankees. And for 3, someone who I previewed before, Ruben Sierra. Now, he came aboard to the Yankees in 1995 with a trade to Oakland A's. The Yankees sent Danny Tartabull, again, he was I think he's number 7. Yeah, I can remember. But he went to the Oakland A's. They gave us Ruben Sierra, and he had another stint with the Yankees later on in 2003. Didn't really, have a lot of time with the Yankees, but was part of some crucial moments, mainly in the division series, Game 2, against the Seattle Mariners, with Don Mattingly going back-to-back in home runs. The place exploded. It was as part of that Yankee team, which ended the 14-year playoff drought. And then later on, 2003, when he came with the Yankees for the second stint, it was just kind of more of a, I would say, a bench player extraordinaire, a pinch hitter extraordinaire, and hit a huge home run in a divisional series against Twins closer Joe Nathan. So overall, you look at Sierra, he wasn't even part of any of the sort of championship Yankees, so it was always just a little too early and just a little too late, but some great Yankee moments, and again, with O'Neill pretty much the right field, Sierra pretty much relegated to being a DH. Ice cream, anyone? Well, number 2, this guy definitely loves ice cream. Big Daddy, Cecil Fielder. Now, he was only with the Yankees about a year and a half. Again, that guy again, Ruben Sierra. Well, just as he's part of this team that's just on championship bound. But midseason, the Yankees have to make a move, so they trade him to the Detroit Tigers, get back Cecil Fielder, who again he could play a little first base, but at that point again he's pretty relegated to being a DH, and had some great moments for the Yankees. First with his glove, when the Yankees were down 2-0 to the Atlanta Braves in the World Series, Torrey had to switch things up, so he sat down Tino, sat down trade Wade Boggs, put Charlie Hayes at third, and had Cecil Fielder at first base. And Cecil Fielder, not only some slick moves with the glove, he still had the glove there, but had a major hit again in that kind of that 1-0 game in that pitcher's duel between John Smoltz and Andy Pettitte in Game 5. And again, he was part of the World Championship Yankees. '96 got his ring, that was great. But unfortunately, in 1997, his skills started to decline a little bit. I mean, the Yankees gave him a shot, but the home run power wasn't there anymore. The bat speed wasn't there anymore, and unfortunately, they had to say goodbye. But again, at least he got his ring. And we're back at Yankee Stadium, but for a good reason. For my number 1 Yankee DH of all time, Hideki Matsui. Fan favorite, everyone loves him. Now, the Yankees signed him in 2003 as a free agent. Now, he was a big star in Japan, playing for the Yomiuri Giants. Big star out there, a home run hitter, Godzilla, that was his nickname. But there was a little question, would his game translate over here in the States? Well, it did. He was fantastic for the Yankees and a very reliable player. Had a streak, kind of like the Japanese version of Cal Ripken, playing in 1,768 straight games if you combine with the Giants and the Yankees. Unfortunately, in his 3rd year in 2006, in a game against the Red Sox, playing the outfield, tried to make a sliding catch, unfortunately broke his wrist. Now, he did come back later in the season, but after that, and I guess it's the years of playing so many games in the outfield, and again for the Giants in Japan, playing on that AstroTurf for so many years, kind of took his toll on his knees and his legs, and he pretty much had to slowly transition to pretty much being a full-time DH. I mean, you really couldn't trust him in the outfield anymore. And this got to the point when the Yankees played interleague games, he couldn't even be available, maybe just for one pinch hit off the bat. And that even showed itself in the 2009 World Series against the Phillies. I mean, he couldn't even play the 3 games down in Philadelphia. But the games he played for the Yankees in Yankee Stadium here, well, that was great for him. He actually contributed very well. Hit .615, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, and actually was declared the World Series MVP, first Japanese player to do so, and was the second player to win a championship in both Japan and the United States. But again, unfortunately, the Yankees had to say goodbye in 2010 just because he was pretty much a full-time DH, and you just couldn't have a guy like that just clogging up your roster. So he kind of went off to the Anaheim Angels, got his ring, big ceremony here, everyone gave him a standing ovation, and he kind of bounced around a little bit, went to the Oakland A's, went to Tampa Bay Rays, but as soon as, not only his fielding skills went down, but his hitting skills went away, and finally he retired in 2013. But kindly enough, the Yankees signed him to a 1-day contract so he could officially retire as a New York Yankee. So it was a very nice gesture. But going back to that '09 World Series, when he hits .615 and hit 3 home runs, well, he became the 3rd Major League player to hit 3 home runs in a World Series and bat over .500, joining some Yankees you might be familiar with: Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. Well, that's the end of our show. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. Hope you liked the episode. And again, I give you my list of Yankee DHs. You want to agree with me, disagree with me? Go in the comment section. Let me know. Or just curse me out. It's okay.